Hello Wildflowers, and welcome back to my little witch's cottage on the wild southeast coast of Australia. If you're new to this channel, hello, I'm Nancy, an artist, author and cottage witch who spent the past few years, along with my amazing hubby, restoring and renovating a heritage 1920s home. Room by room, we're bringing her character back, doing our very best to revive her cozy, charming vintage glory, all on a shoestring budget. And I have a playlist if you'd like to catch up on all the makeovers I've done so far. Now, in this episode, we're returning to finish off the bathroom makeover, or as I now call it, the renovation that ate my sanity. If you missed part one, here's a little recap. This, my sweet friends, was the space we had to work with. And as you can see, it's giving Millennial Grey, sad robot. So we had to roll up our sleeves and begin an extreme makeover. We tore out the old plastic and stainless steel shower bay, ripped the doors off the cabinets, and fell down a terracotta floor rabbit hole. Plaster dust is now one of my core memories, and no more gaps is my new best friend. But now we're onto the fun part, or at least the part where things start looking beautiful again. Well, maybe, because there was still quite a bit of unexpected drama to deal with, and a pinch of questionable design choices. So to start with, I feel I need to explain. You see, I accidentally strayed into dopamine decor territory, which sure is fun and bright, and I love it in my wardrobe. It totally explains itself, really, when you're rapidly losing joy in the middle of renovation hell. But cheery mustard-coloured bath towels, 70s style pendant lights, which looked awesome on my mood board, by the way, and other little knickknacks my inner child just had to have, well, I loved them, but they just weren't working. Not with the rest of the room or the rest of the house. Because this is a witch's cottage after all. She's over 100 years old and full of bewitching little details, nestled between the country and the coast. Think 1920s Victorian with the occasional polite nod to French provincial, and a little Danish mid-century too. A witchy heritage house by the sea? That sounds familiar. And that's when the penny dropped. This house is practically magic, and that's where I should be taking my design inspiration. The Owens sisters, of course. So my new rule was simple. If it wouldn't belong in a magical witch's cottage by the sea, it doesn't belong in this bathroom. And voila, I had instant clarity. Well, instant clarity in hindsight. So in the spirit of owning up to my mistakes, let's talk about the first one. In the last episode, I asked you all to write in the comments and tell me, what colour do you think we should paint these cabinets? And you were also lovely and helpful and gave me some really great ideas. But did I listen to a single one of you? No, I'm sorry. I thought I'd try something different. And let's just see how that went, shall we? Here we go. I mean, I'm really not sure about it. I'm trying to be cool and eccentric and go for this like dopamine decor style. I saw it on Pinterest and it looked really good. So I'm trying to go for this like honeycomb color. It does look fluorescent chartreuse on the video. So, oh my God. Bear in mind that I chose this color before I got the inspiration to make it practical magic inspired. So, yeah, let's try it. Let's try it. What are sample pots for after all? Come on, let's go. Let's do this. Okay, at first I wasn't sure, but then when I saw it all together, I just thought, Ew, it's disgusting. I absolutely hate it. Atrocious. Like it's so gross. Oh, and Dulux? My God, that is not honey. I've never seen honey that color. I'm sorry, but if someone served me honey that color at a restaurant, I might complain. Oh my God. Oh, you know what? Let's pretend that didn't happen. Let's paint over it. And this time I'm going to listen to viewer advice. So I am so sorry I didn't. Many of you voted for just an earthy off-white. And so Tints Fika is perfect for that. And you know, where have I seen these cute French creamy coloured cabinets before? Ah, yes. Now I know I'm on the right track. That's better. And now I feel like the colour palette of the bathroom really is like a seashell. I'm going to feel like Aphrodite or Venus stepping out of this bath. So yeah, I think it all worked out in the end. So one of the things I love to do when thrifting is to think outside the box or inside the box, like this old fisherman's crate that was once used by the fishing trawlers at the local seaside docks to take their fresh catch down to Melbourne, packed in ice, ready to sell at the markets. I think it could be about 65 years old, but I thought it would make the perfect rustic shelf for my calm, coastal, French cottage bathroom. With a little seaside history too. I love that. It took some convincing, but now Mr. Rose is totally on board and I absolutely love it. Okay, so our next little craft project was a seashell and driftwood hook rack. And I suppose it's not really driftwood, but this is some reclaimed timber from, I think, an old gasoline bottle box from way back in the day before they used plastic to package everything. So we carefully removed one of the boards and screwed in these antique gold seashell-esque hooks. And I think the result is rather cute. It was a little fiddly and the two of us had a lot of fun getting it together, but we got there in the end. While Mr. Rose tries to find the stud in the wall, which, yeah, we won't talk about that. I just popped in to be super helpful and I've got to stand back and see if this is the perfect height when towels are hanging on it, obviously. Really, I don't know why he puts up with me. Pretty cute, but I know what you're thinking. Nancy, the sink and the bench top are still disgusting. What are you gonna do? So I got some rub and buff in antique gold and some Gillies lime wax, which should hopefully give the bench top a whitewashed, rustic, coastal effect. Now don't yell at me, but the sink was already pretty tarnished and for stainless steel, it sure did have a lot of stains. So I decided to embrace it. I thought it'd give it more of a rustic, antique look if it was full of imperfections. So I just went for it. And I actually really liked the result. Even after just one coat, it looked so much better. As for the bench top, now I was so done with renovating by this point that I couldn't bear the thought of sanding it all back and using the Gillies lime wax. So I am going to just do a little cheeky temporary fix by using some pale greyish paint to create that driftwood look. It's probably all going to come off soon, but for now it gives me the look that I want and I can go back later and do it properly when I've recharged my DIY batteries just a little. let me tell you about the pendant lamp fiasco. Of course, originally this bathroom had, you guessed it, boring, white, bright downlights. And they're the first thing to go in my mind. Nothing makes a room cozier than beautiful lighting. So you may remember from my part 1 mood board that I chose these gorgeous retro pendant lights in an olive green. And let's not talk about the fact that when we pulled the downlights out, we realized that they have different color settings. Uh-oh, I could have left them in and just changed it to a warm light. Well, I was still convinced that the olive green lights would still look cute. So let's give that a shot. Now, it's not good, is it?
It's not good, what?
Not good.
This?
Yeah, I mean, okay, hang on. Oh, poor Mr. Rose. He really deserves a Husband of the Year medal for all of his patience. Let's see if putting the globes in makes them any better. Nope. I hate them. And you know what? I think this is another one of my clashing eras mistakes. I've gone up from mid-century when I should have gone down. That's okay. Look, we all make mistakes sometimes, and the very lovely people at Liquid LEDs, where I bought multiple bulbs, are letting me return them for a full refund, and I am going to sell those pendant lights to somebody on Marketplace who will truly appreciate them in their more retro home. So, what do we do next? Repaint the ceiling and start over with my design technique in mind. Would it belong in a French provincial witch's coastal cottage? Because that's the lighting I need. Now this one is gorgeous and it kind of reminds me a little bit of a seashell. So let's try not to break it before we install it, Nancy. Oh my god, I love them! Yippee! Finally, no more renovating. It's time for the fun part. Let's decorate. One thing I absolutely love to thrift are picture frames. I collect them whenever I go to local op shops and antique stores. Most of these I've scored for less than $2. Some were brand new, and if not, well, the old frames always have so much more character. You can repair them, paint them, or sand them back to their original timber, depending on the look you're going for. It saves a fortune doing it this way, especially when you need to save money for all those bent nails that need to be replaced. Now that I've chosen my favourite frames and arranged them on the walls, it's time to select the perfect art for that calm country coastal feeling with a touch of light academia. My trick is to hang the frames all empty first, then take a photo of the gallery so I can play around in one of my favourite design programs. I paste different prints in and shuffle them around, and this way I can get a feel for how the artworks complement each other before I hit print. Okay, I'm really happy with the prints I've chosen, but there's one thing missing. If you'll remember, in the last episode, I promised to create an original for this room. Not in my usual art style, but more like something Renoir or Monet would create. Think romantic, textured and dreamy. So, new special interest incoming. Yes, I've always been curious to try oil pastels, but never quite knew how to make them look polished instead of, smudgy chaos. So I took a class on Skillshare where you can become a pro with thousands of creative classes. I fell in love with Ukrainian artist Alina Harvey's classes. She shows you how to create these gorgeous soft effects with oil pastels, the kind I've always admired in the works of Impressionists. What she does is just beautiful, and watching her tutorials is relaxing. My ADHD brain finally paid attention. Watching her layer colours and textures gave me the exact confidence I needed to get myself a little practice set and try it out. And I loved it. Not bad for my first attempt, left-handed and on camera. What do you think? What I love about Skillshare is that you learn directly from real world-class creatives, professional illustrators, artists and designers. And it's not just art and craft. There are classes in photography, writing, music, animation, and so much more. If you'd like to explore too, now's the perfect time. The first 500 people to use my link in the description or scan the QR code will receive 1 month free trial of Skillshare. I'm telling you, it's so worth it. Well, you all know I love the thrill of the thrift. Finding things at local antique stores, on marketplace, op shops, anywhere you can grab a bargain is so rewarding when you're doing up a house. And sometimes it's the only way to get something with character, charm, that feels like it belongs to the era that your house was built. Funny enough, even my favourite antique stores didn't have much for me in the way of decor this time around, although I did find a treasure trove of picture frames, that old fisherman's crate, the gasoline bottle, and a few stone flasks and vases. But I wasn't disheartened, because right here in my own sleepy country town, just a short walk from Belladonna Cottage, there's a lovely little shop called Audrey and Ivy. Here I knew I'd find everything I'd need for my calm coastal cottage bathroom. Jane has a great eye for interior design and always stocks a nice mix of handmade goods by local artisans and designers from all around Australia. And you know, as I was shopping and chatting to Jane, I thought, these things do boost my dopamine. Even though they're not screaming colour, the mermaid part of me, the coastal grandma in me, well, they were all pretty happy. They were beaming. I mean, look at these gorgeous little fish and this shell vase. Oh my gosh, it's so sparkly and cute. I feel like a fairy sea sprite would just love this. I might go back tomorrow and see if she still has it. Last on my list were a few little luxuries from Saison. All those heavenly lotions and potions, things that, even when you're a crafty kind of green witch with a garden full of herbs, you can't always find time to make yourself. I mean, as much as I love an apothecary, I'm not too keen on another room makeover anytime soon, even if I could find the space for it. So now that we've settled on an aesthetic, theme and colour palette that actually works, and we've gathered up all our decorative items and cute little knickknacks, it's time to add the finishing touches, which really is the best part because now I can see the light at the end of the bathtub. Not long now, and I can sink into that tub filled with lavender salts and let my poor old bones recover from that 9-week renovation nightmare. You know, it was actually intentional that I chose a round mirror that looked a little like a porthole on a ship. It's kind of my nautical nod, but also it really helps soften that space, which I talked about in the first episode. And fun little fact, porthole comes from the French word for window, porte. So there you go, it's French and it's coastal, so it's totally perfect. Check out this extra long bath mat I found that looks a little like a vintage Berber rug. Would we find this in an eclectic French artist's coastal cottage? Well, yeah, I know Henri Matisse and Eugene Delacroix both love to visit Morocco, so I can even see them picking up this little shell inlay side table. Although, yeah, bed, bath and table wasn't around back then, but I can see it. Hoo-wee, I love these terracotta tiles. Can you even tell they're hand painted? Now, I do hate to cover them up, but I felt that the back of the bath needed softening, and at first I thought of a little vintage bar cart. I could put some plants and a wireless lamp on top, but then I found the perfect thing at the retro shop. This hand-woven beach bag with a cute checkerboard pattern. I love it. And yes, I know some of you are against faux plants, but honestly, this room gets very little light. And I mean, I have an entire cottage garden out there to water. This switch ain't got no time for indoor plants. But look, here's some real foliage. I put it in this vintage jug. There we go. Lovely. What a cutie. Okay, I think I'm done decorating. So before the final reveal, which I know you're all waiting for, I think it's important we take one last look at the horror before. Now, I'm really sorry to do this to you after all that lush, vintage, coastal eye candy, but you know the transformation is going to be so much more breathtaking if we just revise what we had to work with. A leery yellow stained timber benchtop, clinical geometric stainless steel lines, sterile white walls, and charcoal grey, not fooling anyone, faux marble tiles. Ugh, I'm so glad that's not my bathroom anymore. Goodbye, sad robot. Let's take a peek at how she looks now. Well, what do you think? This little sea witch is pretty pleased with herself. I haven't left this tub in a few hours and I'm getting all wrinkly. And it's not just because I'm loving this book, it's because I can't stop looking around and taking in all the gorgeous details, feeling like a mermaid princess. It may still take some time before the trauma of that renovation fades away, but the wine and the Epsom salts are helping quite a bit to dull the memory of that rather rocky road until we got to this practically magic bathroom. But you know, I think many of us are guilty of making some funny design choices when we're totally exhausted, right? So I guess it's a good thing that I finally installed this bath. It's one of my favourite ways to relax, and I really wanted to have it done before my 45th birthday. So 3 cheers for that. I'm so glad I chose to course correct a little with this makeover, and I think the witchy, seaside, magical cottage aesthetic suits me so much better, don't you? I don't know what I was thinking, but I have the Owens sisters to thank for this inspiration, and I feel like they'd approve, even if I guess I've gone a little more French, provincial, Parisian arty than whimsy goth, but nevertheless, whatever it's called, I love it. I really hope you enjoyed this episode, Wildflowers, and if you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And check out my other videos on home and decor. I've made a little playlist so you can see everything from the bedroom to the writer's nook to the kitchen and even the porch and the cottage garden itself. So until next time, merry meet and merry meet again. May you be soaking in elderflower scented bubbles in your very own practically magical, witchy, sacred bathing space with all your favourite lotions and potions, just daydreaming away or reading a good book.